Today's story comes from the romantic drama dream of Wedding Day. A story about two women who loved each other deeply, but were slowly torn apart by family, pride, and misunderstanding. Sometimes, love alone is not enough to protect a relationship. Sometimes, the people around us become the reason everything falls apart. And that is exactly what happened to Peerachar and Ranlalapat. 2 months ago, Ranlalapat asked for a divorce. And ever since that day, Peerachar had been pretending that it didn't matter. Every night, she went out with friends. She laughed loudly. She drank. She stayed out late. Anyone watching her would think she had already moved on, as if the woman she loved most in the world meant nothing to her anymore. But the truth was very different. One evening, Peerachar sat at a table with her two closest friends. The restaurant was lively. People were laughing. Music played softly in the background. But the atmosphere at their table felt strangely tense. Her friends watched her carefully. They had been watching her like this for 2 months now. Finally, one of them sighed. She leaned forward slightly and spoke in a tired voice. "Ever since your wife asked for a divorce, you haven't rested for a single night. You go out every evening. You drink. You stay out late. Don't you ever get tired?" Her words weren't meant to be harsh. They were filled with concern, because both of them knew exactly what Peerachar was doing. She was running away from the pain. The other friend laughed softly. "That's what people do when they're heartbroken." She lifted her glass slightly. "Drink, party, and pretend to forget the person they love." The words were said jokingly, but everyone at the table understood the meaning behind them. Peerachar immediately frowned. Her expression hardened. "Who's heartbroken?" she said sharply. "Definitely not me." Her voice was firm, almost defensive, but her friends didn't react. They simply exchanged a quiet glance, because they knew the truth. They had seen something no one else had. 2 months earlier, on the night Ranlalapat asked for a divorce, Peerachar had cried the entire night. The confident, stubborn woman who never showed weakness had completely broken down. She sat on the floor beside the bed, her hands trembling, her eyes red from crying. And over again, she kept repeating the same words. "I love her. I really love her." Again, and again, and again. The name she whispered that night was Ranlalapat. Her wife, the woman who was now leaving her. Ranlalapat was everything Peerachar was not. She was calm, elegant, quiet, a brilliant lawyer working at an international law firm. Where Peerachar was fiery and outspoken, Ranlalapat was patient and thoughtful. Where Peerachar spoke her mind without hesitation, Ranlalapat carefully considered every word. They were completely different, and yet somehow, they had fallen deeply in love. For a long time, their relationship seemed perfect. People admired them. They looked like the kind of couple that would last forever. But now, they were separating, even after agreeing to divorce. Peerachar still couldn't completely let go. Her friends had seen it many times. Whenever something happened to Ranlalapat, Peerachar would immediately appear. One day, Ranlalapat collapsed at work. She had been working too much. Too many cases. Too many responsibilities. When Peerachar heard the news, she rushed straight to her company. She was furious, angry that they had pushed Ranlalapat so hard she fainted. Another time, Ranlalapat had a minor car accident. It wasn't serious, but Peerachar still dragged her straight to the hospital. She insisted on a full medical checkup, even though they were already in the middle of a divorce. Her friends had witnessed all of this, and they understood something very clearly. No one would go to those lengths unless they still loved that person deeply. The truth was simple. Their relationship had not been destroyed by love. The love was still there. The real problem was family. Ranlalapat had been trapped between two people, her wife and her mother. From the very beginning, Peerachar and her mother-in-law had never gotten along. Every meeting between them turned into a battlefield. Sometimes it was loud arguments. Sometimes it was cold silence. Sometimes it was just small comments, sharp enough to hurt. Neither woman was willing to step back. Neither one wanted to lose. And slowly, the tension between them grew stronger, until eventually, it began to break the marriage itself. Back at the restaurant, Peerachar's friends stopped teasing her, because now they could see it clearly. The pain, the frustration, the sadness she was trying so hard to hide. Peerachar lowered her head slightly. Her voice trembled as she spoke. You two always take her side. You know what I went through. You know what her mother did to me. But you still act like everything was my fault. The table fell silent. Neither friend answered. Because deep down, they knew something. Peerachar wasn't completely wrong. The truth was painful. Peerachar and Ranlalapat still loved each other. Everyone could see it. But sometimes, love alone isn't enough. Family, pride, and old wounds that never healed. All of these things can slowly destroy even the strongest relationships. And now the question remained. If they still loved each other this much, would they really go through with the divorce? Or was this only the beginning of their story? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to Velvet Chapter, because the next chapter might reveal a secret you never expected. See you in the next chapter.